Welcome, Sandy, to Miraculous Transformations. I'm so excited to have you on the show.
I felt like my nervous system got unplugged from like this high voltage that it had been plugged into. Go through the journey of being completely disconnected to, aligned, trying to be aligned every day. And what does that mean? Just like looking at it, it's not just paying attention to what you eat. It's not just paying attention to, hey, am I hydrated or not? When I'm telling you about it, it's like I see this vision of us just being in the now and just kind of moving energy, taking things in, putting things out, whether that's words, thoughts, food, everything, just everything. And so it's really beautiful once you are able to see yourself as a creator, as a constant creator. It's really incredible once you start taking a look at yourself and saying, every cell is just waiting for my command and for direction. And it's like, let's love ourselves. Let's love each and every one of ourselves. You really see how amazing the body is. And then when you put the spirituality element into it, is just unbelievable. You're just like, oh my God, I'm a miracle.
This is a foundational paradigm shift that you're
Yes,
exploring, right?
yes. I know that it's working. So it's like once you see, you can't unsee, right?
Welcome to Miraculous Transformations, conversations about powerful practices that create powerful transformations. Join me as I delve into stories of change and explore the tools and practices that have helped people navigate their paths. You might just find some you'd like to try yourself. Welcome, Sandy, to Miraculous Transformations. I'm so excited to have you on the show. And I'm going to do a little introduction to share how we know each other, and then I'll turn it over to you to share your story. So, Sandy and I have known each other for almost 10 years, right? Or 9 years, I guess. It was
Yeah.
in
Uh-huh.
2016. We
Mm-hmm.
met on an Abraham Hicks cruise. And the way I remember it is we kept running into each other over and over and over again. You with Julie, me with Kat, so our cabin mates on the cruise, and we were running into you everywhere. We had like a connector, I think. No, we didn't all know Nicole. Anyway,
Not yet. Not yet.
yeah, so Nicole also was part of that mix. There were five of us and we kept running into each other, and it was like all over the boat we would into each other. We'd get off at different stops and run into each other in town, and we were like, apparently we're meant to be friends.
I mean, like out of thousands of people, and we would like sit together, loop together, come back together.
Yeah, so that's how we met, and then we have maintained a friendship for the last 9 years. And our group of friends that we met on that cruise, we started out by having like I think we used to do monthly calls, and then over time it's gotten less and less. But we have maintained a group connection in all this time, and I've also gotten to spend time with you, one on one, and also with David when we've been in town and stuff. So I've
Yeah.
definitely maintained contact with you over the years, and I'm so grateful for our friendship. And I've been so interested and inspired by your journey. I'm always inspired by your journeys because you always have amazing stories about synchronicities and just the things that happen that line up for you perfectly, just like your shirt says.
Yeah.
You're speaking of, that is Sandy's design from her clothing line,
Between the seams.
Between the Seams.
Yeah.
And so this is one of her new designs, but you just always have these amazing synchronicities and great stories. And so right now what you're going to share is your deep dive into your healing journey. And so I'm so excited to hear your story, and I'm going to turn it over and let you start sharing.
Oh my gosh. So, okay. So I'm so thankful for this opportunity. Thank you so much. And I just want to say, like, it's just beautiful to watch you grow into this amazing project. I think we were just talking just a few minutes ago before we started recording about how I feel like you're just perfect for this because you're so warm and so welcoming. And you're always like, asking beautiful questions and like very attentive, and you just want to know and you want to learn, and it's I think this is just the perfect platform for you, and I'm like super proud of you,
Oh,
and
thank
I'm
you.
super glad to be here. And yes, the journey of like, seeing our journeys for the last 10 years, it's been something really wonderful. So yeah, I'm super happy to be here, so thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. All right. So why don't you dive in and tell us about your healing journey?
Oof. So, um, I guess I can start from the beginning. And the beginning is that I have had autoimmune conditions since I was very, very little. So I think I was really born with a lot of this stuff. So it's a lot of it is genetic. And so just throughout my lifetime, I've dealt with a series of like serious illnesses, like, just I've vitiligo, which is your pigmentation, issues with your pigmentation. And, it goes and it comes back. And I've also had problems with inflammation of the joints. So in like 2007, I lost use of both of my hands for like about a year and a half. And
Oh, wow.
just like a lot of inflammation. It started with one hand and then it just kind of spread. And then I was overusing my other one. So then that also got super inflamed. And so it was carpal tunnel tendonitis with just a ton of inflammation. So they wanted to do surgery at that point. Locally, even though I get sick, I recover pretty. I mean, after like maybe about a year and a half of like struggles, I recover from it. So there's some people that, aren't able to recover by themselves. My body, luckily, after a certain period of time, it just starts regenerating. So I had a problem with that. I've also had some issues with heart palpitations and things like that. They couldn't figure out what it was with my thyroid. So it's just kind of like, it's always kind of like moving. It's not like one thing that I've always had all my life, because I know that some people just suffer with one condition throughout their lives. So I've been now I kind of joke about it, but it's like I've been able to sample different things, and so it's been extremely difficult because with autoimmune, I mean, now it's a lot more common, but before it was like you would go to a specialist and that specialist would look at that specific thing. So, okay, you have arthritis. So then, you would go to somebody that would just take care of that. Or, you have issues with your heart, then you go with a specialist. So nobody really ever took a look at the whole entire body. And of course not body, mind, and soul, right? Because that's where I'm at now, where it's not just connecting how your body interacts with your nervous system and all your organs, and it's one ecosystem that's continuously trying to rebalance itself, right? um so not just the body, but then also the mind, because as we know, your thoughts become reality, and your emotions emit vibration, and that in turn has an effect on how you feel, how you think, and how your cells move through your body, and basically the commands that you're giving the cells and your organs, and all of these things, right? So now I have a better understanding of that as well. And then, of course, spiritually, right? Just being able to go through the journey of being completely disconnected to, aligned, trying to be aligned every day. And what does that mean? Just like looking at it, it's not just paying attention to what you eat. It's not just paying attention to, hey, am I hydrated or not? It's also like, have I meditated? Am I working through my emotions? Because that can also leave a lot of, I call them like knots in your body that I believe become illnesses. So I guess I would say that now I have a better understanding that it's not just that body part, it's not just the inflammation in that area, and it's not just that issue, but it's like, okay, let me check this. I'm not feeling well here. This feels like inflammation here. Well, what have I been doing? What haven't I been doing? What have I been eating? What haven't I been eating? What have I been thinking? What, should I be meditating? Should I be, and so it's just this, this, I don't really know how to explain it, but it's almost like we're alchemizing energy continuously, and we're materializing this constantly. And so my biggest aha moment was probably, I would even say like a week ago, where I was just like, it just came to me where it's 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 not just it's not just one thing, it's all of it, but it's all the time, right? It's like
Right.
continuously in the now, like being in the now and rebalancing everything, right? Am I too stressed here? Okay, so I need to do some more self-care here. um have I not, like, and even when you eat, right? Especially for women, we have hormones and we go through cycles, and even then, like, what we're eating one day may not be the best thing for us to eat when we're like close to our cycles, or there's just so much.
It sounds like you have had such a journey into your intuition. Like it's really because when you're just talking about like, well, yesterday this worked, today it's not working, you've really got to listen. You've really got to listen to your body, and you've really got to trust like that. Oh my, you've got to trust yourself that I'm sensing that correctly, and that I have the ability to shift and change those things. But I'm curious, do you mind? So you started with like, your background. How did you get to the point? Like,
The
what
breakthrough.
was, yeah, what was your turning point in terms of like going from one mindset? Like, what was your paradigm shifting moment? Or did you have one, or was it
uh
slow?
I mean, I think that all along you have all of these, and then you just we keep evolving, we keep going. It's and just going back to, just touching back to like that moment, just being in the moment.
Mm.
Like Eckhart Tolle says, like, be in the moment, be in the now. And it's like you constantly have to reshift this energy and alchemize it and create all the time, and it's different all the time. And in order to do that, you really have to be very conscious and um, very driven to take inventory of yourself all the time, and to be able to reassess where your resources are going, and to be able to shift quite quickly so that you can maintain um, stability, homeostasis. I don't know what you would call it, but when I'm telling you about it, it's like I see this vision of us just being in the now and just kind of moving energy, taking things in, putting things out, whether that's words, thoughts, food, um, everything, just everything. And so it's really beautiful once you are able to see yourself as a creator, as a
Mm.
constant creator. And in this journey that, and I'll go a little bit more into it, but in the last 3 years, it was extremely difficult because, yeah, and that was the breaking point. But basically what I realized is that we are the gods of like each and every one of our cells.
Mm.
We tell them, we give them, direction, we give them what they need or what they don't need. So it's really incredible once you start taking a look at yourself and saying, every cell is just waiting for my command
Mm.
and for direction. And it's like, let's love ourselves. Let's love each and every one of ourselves. And so then you start becoming not only conscious about your body, not only conscious about your eating habits and your health and all of that, and your relationships and your emotions, but I feel like at this point I have fallen in love with myself at such a deep level.
That's
uh,
so amazing.
yeah, because once you really see how your thoughts and your actions morph your body, uh you really see how amazing the body is. And 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 then when you put uh the spirituality element into it, is just unbelievable. You're just like, oh my God, I'm a miracle. and
Yeah.
and it's really beautiful because I think that I've really gotten to, people always talk about self-love and self-love, but I would invite people to go even deeper than that and really dive into really loving yourself and loving everything about yourself, every cell, everything. And once you do that, I think you can start seeing a different perspective of what life is and what your life is. And then you're able to, well, I was able to just be grateful for little things, like really, really little things. Like, hey, I woke up this morning and I'm not feeling pain and I'm not, like it, it's beautiful. But I know you wanted me to talk a little bit more about the breakthrough, like the break point. And so, going back, you know, I had different illnesses throughout my life. They were pretty serious, but I recovered. So I never really thought I was, eating unhealthy. I always thought, I eat salads and, chicken and, steak. And I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, I drink coffee and, sometimes I have some drinks and I felt pretty healthy actually. And I worked out from time to time, but I never thought I had bad eating habits by any means. And I've never really been um heavy. My body has always maintained like the same weight. So I never really had like the alarm go off saying, hey, you really need to take a look at the way you're eating. So I just went throughout my life thinking I was pretty healthy, until about 3 years ago. What happened was, I decided to go to a Joshua Tree for New Year's with some friends. And we went camping and it was beautiful. I felt like really connected to nature. And so I was going to come home to San Diego. And all of a sudden, like, I just get this desire to go to Palm Springs. And I'm like, I want to go home. And it was like, no, I need to go to Palm Springs. I need to go to Palm Springs right now. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do in Palm Springs? Like, I'm by myself. And I don't like, what am I don't want to go there. And, but this pool was so strong that I, I couldn't, I couldn't get away from the thought and the feeling. So anyways, I was like, you know what, maybe I should do and this is the thought that came to me. I thought maybe I should do like a juice detox. I mean, that sounds good. And I had never done one of those.
Okay.
So I never like I was like not I was just thinking, okay, what am I feeling like? Yeah, I'm feeling like a lot of juice and I need a break. My body needs a break. So anyways, I opened up my phone and I said, "Hey Siri, can you find a detox place in Palm Springs?" And she called it and I booked it. I never looked at it online. Literally, it happened within like probably less than 5 minutes. I was like stopped in this. And it's funny because it was like either I took a left and went to San Diego or I took a right and went to Palm Springs. Anyways, I did the reservation within like 3 minutes. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm going there.
See, there's that intuition. I love it.
Yes, yes. I mean, it was like I couldn't ignore it. It was just like you have to do this and you have to do this now. And so anyways, I listened and I was just like, okay, well, I mean, I might as well just enjoy it. So I turned on some tunes and I was just like, all right, let me just get there. So anyways, I get to this place and I check in and I because I thought I could just like do the cleanse and then I could be on my way, but they're like, no, if you really want to do it, you should stay 3 days and do the whole thing. And it was a series of juices, green juice mainly, and then a broth, no solid foods at all, no coffee, no alcohol, no anything. And it's a very peaceful spa with mineral waters. So a very healing place. And so when she said that, I was just like, it was like an immediate yes. I felt like I wasn't even talking. Like somebody else was like, yes, we'll take it. I'll sign. And I was like, whoa, okay, fine. So anyways, it was pretty hard because I did eat a lot of sugar and a lot of carbs. And so just the shift is kind of difficult,
Right. I mean, it's all of the sudden, right? It was just
all of
like
a
cold
sudden.
turkey, like, yeah.
Cold turkey, and I didn't even get to read about it, which
Right.
that happens to me often. And I'm sure, I don't know if you remember, but when we went to the
I
cruise,
do.
I had booked it like days before.
And you had just heard of Abraham like 2 weeks
Yeah,
before or
I was like,
something, or two
I was
months.
like,
And
oh my God, what is this? It was just like, but then it's like, because then that's the beauty of it, because I didn't research it, so I know it's so true, right? Because there's no misconceptions or there's no like thinking about it and like, oh, was this what I was thinking or is this real? Or it's very, very raw, very true. So this just like that, it happened like that. So anyways, I did the cleanse and they had a package with like some colon cleanses and some other stuff. And um I remember by the third day I was like, the first day was horrible. I was very anxious, very fidgety. Then the second, then the third day, I felt like my nervous system got unplugged from like this high voltage that it had been plugged into. And I think I was like, I remember I was thinking, gosh, this is the first day that I feel like calm. Like I'm feeling calm. And I was just like, this is amazing. Like this is like I can't even believe it. This is like the best thing ever. So I left and I thought I'm doing this. When I get back home, I'm gonna like continue doing this and I'm gonna learn more about this because I had clarity. Like I realized that I didn't remember things. So I lived in like a mental fog a lot.
oh, okay.
And my nervous system was just cranked up all the time, like
Yeah.
even when I slept. So that was a beautiful, beautiful break. And it kind of gave me a glimpse of what could be possible.
So I have a question about that. So it was 3 days which
Yeah.
is like not that long in the whole scheme of things. So,
No.
do you know in those 3 days, like what specifically allowed your nervous system to just to unplug and relax, or do you think it was?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think, well, now I don't think I know that sugar plays a huge part
Oh, right,
in the deregulation of your immune system, of your nervous system, of your digestive system. And the I mean, there's so many documentaries out there in Netflix and Hulu and all these places where it shows you how much sugar we're actually consuming.
right.
I don't know the name of this I don't remember it off the top of my head, but it's a documentary where this guy gets sugar cubes and he does like, this is what you're actually eating. You're eating like 50 sugar cubes, and
Yeah.
for breakfast, and then like by the end of the day you're like eating like this much sugar cubes, and you're like, wow, this is it's insane what's happening. Not to mention how processed the, the foods are, all the preservatives, because we have chosen to have more time and to cook less and to, do less prep and
The
convenience.
convenience
Yeah,
culture. We just said that at
convenience.
the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that has come at a very, very high price,
Yeah.
very high price. And I think that that's why we have an epidemic of illnesses. And what I have learned, I'm not a doctor, or I'm not giving any medical advice, but in my journey what I found out is that inflammation is the problem. Like,
Mhm.
most illnesses are caused by inflammation,
Right.
and things like cancer and things like this, sugar plays a huge role in feeding these cells that are not being able to be cleansed out of the system.
So so at that place, you were off sugar for 3 days. When you went back home, did you stay off sugar like from?
No, 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 because the cravings were like, and I read somewhere where like sugar is more addictive than cocaine. Well, I've never had cocaine, but sugar is definitely very, very addictive. And before I started realizing that I would prefer to eat sugar than like salty foods, or like protein or anything like that. Like, I would have like a croissant, and like I would have like a Starbucks, and that's just like a ton of sugar. And then I would have like bread, and that has a ton of sugar. And even though, I thought I'm eating pretty healthy, I actually was not. So I feel like once you really start examining what you're eating and how you're eating, then you you I mean, it's pretty astonishing that the lengths that you have to go through to eat healthy. You basically have to cook all of your meals and try to buy organic food.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was just like a rude awakening. But yes, when I got back from there, I went back to my usual and working 7 days a week, 90-hour weekdays.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And so when you're working those schedules, you don't have time to cook, right? So you do have to have the convenience of the food, the fast food, and all of that. And that's not, you can't really get healthy fast food, period.
Right.
Like, that's just the reality of it. I mean, so I just kind of fell back into it, but then I started, just looking more into it. And then I started doing like little cleanses, where I would drink juices, I would order them. And so I started doing them more often. But yet, like, I was still under the impression that I was eating very healthy when I was eating like chocolate croissants and like bagels and like all this stuff. I was like, oh, I'm super healthy. Yeah. Well, as I was drinking my Starbucks, I was like, no, 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 I won't have the whipped cream. I'm healthy. And here's like this 3,000 calorie drink. But anyhow, I didn't know at that time. But I had started this momentum of like, okay, I am craving this green juices, and I am craving fruit, and I am craving all these things. Like, my body was automatically seeking these things.
Isn't
And
that wild how your body, like I have had situations like that where, for example, I don't like cantaloupe that much. Like it's okay, but I don't love cantaloupe. But I went through this phase where I just like really wanted cantaloupe all the time. And then I discovered that cantaloupe is really healing for your liver, and my liver enzymes were elevated at the time.
it's that's where your intuition comes in,
It's
and
so cool.
the whole divinity that is us. Like we're just like, yes, and we're very in touch with like everything that's outside. And like other things that I learned, like that you need to ground, that you need, to be outside. And like, I mean, it's just incredible how detached we've come from everything within and without. Like I have this shirt that says as above so below, as within so without. And it's like we have somehow managed to completely detached from like spirit, from nature, from ourselves and our body.
Yeah.
And so I think that this is where we're at. This is the result is just a lot of people that are sick and you know not well, mentally and spiritually. And I think that's just from that separation, because I believe that we're supposed to, it's in our nature to have like this, like what you were saying, almost like this intuition, this really overdeveloped intuition to things. And um
Well, and
yeah,
I feel like our systems are not set, and our like our medical system is not set up to redirect you in that way. Like, hey, you need to make sure that you're putting your feet on the ground outside and that you're getting sun. I mean, it's just not set up to advise you to connect your mind, body, and spirit. But I know that you had mentioned that you have like some key mentors and guides and
yeah,
key players that help guide you through that. And I would assume that some of them are doctors.
yeah,
So how did you, I guess, like, how did you pick the right people to guide you, and like how did you find them, and who are they? And
yeah. So I, just like how you were sharing how we met, how we kept running into each other like everywhere. Like I mean, I think that if we would have made plans to meet each other, there's no way. Like even if we would have sent like, hey, let's meet, like we wouldn't have met like so much. So like there's just something, and I don't know, maybe you can help me. What would you call it?
it was like a divine
Synchronicities.
it was synchronicity and like a divine orchestration of like communication of like you're
Be here.
supposed to be
Yes,
here. You're supposed to, be with these people right now.
exactly. So that exact same thing happened in my path. So just like that day, I decided to take a right instead of a left to go through a spa that I hadn't really looked into. But just following that feeling of like, you know, okay, this feels like I have to do this, right? And it feels good. It doesn't feel bad. It feels like, and like Abraham Hicks says, it feels delicious, and it feels like, yeah, like I really want some green juice. like why, I don't know. But just following that intuition and those pulls and those tugs. And yeah, like when I came back, I started doing a lot of those. I would purchase some juice cleanses from a local place that does organic juicing. Locally, I have several places that do that where I live. And so the more I did it, the better I felt. And I just kept going, and I was thinking, oh, I'm doing amazing. And I started working out more. I had like way more energy. Like my energy was just like really through the roof. And I was like, oh, I'm cured of everything. Everything's good. Um, but then it came time to where like, because there's like a process once you start detoxing, there's like a buildup of toxins in your body. Like, so imagine I was working like 90-hour weeks, how much stress I was under and how much toxins were trapped in my body. Not only that, but I was never able to really go to the restroom like continuously, like how you're supposed to. But I didn't even know, like I never even paid attention to that. I was just like, okay, well, that's just like not how it is for me. And I just completely detached from like, okay, what your body needs to do every day. And so I eventually I started, one of my other friends started doing another cleanse, and which was a lot deeper. And so since she knew that I was doing this, she was like, hey, do you want to do this cleanse with me? And I told her, yes, absolutely. I mean, you know, I think that there's strength in numbers for sure. And that, you know, you can like support each other. That's
Yeah, an
huge. Right?
accountability buddy.
Yeah, yeah. And so that's when I met the this coach. Her name is Mari Festino, and so I met her, and she had like a program to kind of like, okay, like this is you should do this for 30 days, not 3 days, but 30. So I was like, oh, wow, this is like so intense because it was like no coffee, which I'm Colombian. So I've been drinking coffee since I was like 3. At
Okay.
like nonstop every day, you know, multiple times. Like when I was working so much, I would drink like 3, 4, 5 cups a day. So very, very addicted to it. And in her plan, there was like no coffee, no sugar, no carbs. And I was like, what is this? Like I'm gonna die if I do all this. Like my body just won't be able to take that shift. So then I decided to do it a little bit at a time. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna what's the easiest thing to take away? Okay, I'm gonna take away like all like the croissants and all this, like all the bread, right? And then I'm just gonna have like 3 slices per week. So slowly weaning myself off. And then like once my body was able to recalibrate, and I started feeling lighter and lighter and lighter. And I was like, okay, this is definitely working. So I'm gonna continue doing it. Then after that, you know, I took away all the grains and all the stuff that would be difficult for my body to digest. Um, and after that, I went for the sugar. That was tough. That was tough. And I started getting so much energy. Like it was just incredible. And so I was talking to my friend who I was doing the challenge with, and she said, you know, you have so much energy, like you're working out twice a day. Like, I don't think you need to drink coffee. I think you're ready. And I was like, no, 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 I'm gonna drink coffee. Don't even like. But then I sat down and I was like, you know what? I do have energy, and I maybe I don't need it. And just like that, one day I just like I left it. I had massive migraines for 2 weeks, but I haven't had coffee in I think like 2 years. I had
Wow.
one cup of coffee, but that was at Dr. Mosher's office. But yeah, and so yeah, that part of it was really great.
When you say that you cut out sugar, um, process like what all sugar, like honey,
The
all
only
everything?
sugar, yeah, the only sugar I was having was from fruit.
Okay, so natural fruit sugars, not so no sugars, no there's all these alternative sugars and monk fruit sugar,
No,
coconut
not
sugar.
no, no, and not even like not even carbs, like no bread. So my body was not even pulling from there. But I did have to go into like a whole regimen of like supplements
Oh,
because your body, yeah. So I mean, it's something that you can't just cold turkey everything. I'm not sure what would happen if you did maybe you could do it, but you also have to start supplementing your body. And then especially with my autoimmune condition, um, any kind of shift that I make in my body, it like needs to kind of like be rebalanced for sure.
Okay, I do have one other question.
Yes, of course.
With the okay, so the detox symptoms.
Yes.
You've mentioned each time you cut something out or each time you went through this that you would have, for example, the intensity of having 2 weeks of migraines. So how did you get to the point where you trusted that this is a detox symptom and it's not that like something's wrong, that this is just because I'm detoxing?
Well, I was, Mary, she does this like as that this is so she is a coach and she does this. And especially with like my autoimmune condition, I really had to check in because any kind of shift, it's like boom, inflammation. But so with her guidance, her telling me, hey, she calls it like crisis curativa in Spanish, and that's just like a healing crisis. So you go through all of these as you start healing the body.
Okay.
Because what I then found out was that as you start releasing the stress from your body with eating all these foods that are causing inflammation, and you're allowing the cells to now um, do their job and start cleaning up house. And so what happens with that is, like when you're sick, right? You have the flu, you get a fever, you get shivers, your body goes into full let's clean this out mode. So
Mm.
that's exactly what happened to
Oh my
me.
gosh, I don't know if I've ever thought, okay, so first of all, I love the term healing crisis because it really does put that in perspective because it can feel like that when you're detoxing. But I don't think I've ever thought about the fact that like when you have flu, okay, when you have the flu, that all those symptoms are evidence that your body is cleaning out the virus.
Yes.
I never
And
thought about that. I just thought like, oh, the virus makes you feel bad, makes you feel.
no, it's like all your T-reg cells are like going at it, trying to like, cleanse out your system of anything that's
Yeah.
not supposed to be there. And the problem is that in our society, we are told to shut your body up, like tell your body to shut up
Right. We suppress symptoms, right?
by taking, all these pain medications, the, fever suppressants, the autoimmune suppressants, the cortisols, the this, the that. Like we are bombarded by things that are meant to shut our body up. So we don't really know what the heck is really happening. Like I thought that I was healthy, right? But then I didn't take into account that I was drinking, 3 to 5 cups of coffee a day to just get my day going and to like put myself under all this stress. And then like at the end of the night, maybe I'll have to have a cup of wine or something like that so that I can like kind of wind down. So how
Mm.
many people do that? So we're using uppers and then we're using downers to kind of like regulate ourselves. And then in between that, antidepressants. I mean, because like at one point when I was sick, one of my doctors prescribed an antidepressant. I didn't even know what that was, but he just wanted to calm my immune system down because that was the first time that I had lupus and my skin was kind of opening up and I was freaking out. And he's like, well, you're working so much. Well, they don't tell you stop working that job. They tell you, here's this, pill, take it. And you're just gonna tell your body to shut up and you're gonna keep going and you're gonna keep consuming these things that are suppressing your body of telling you, hey, there's a problem, solve it,
I mean,
shift
this is
something.
like a this is a foundational paradigm shift that you're
Yes,
exploring, right?
yes, yes. And
Okay.
so
Oh, go
when
ahead.
we have everybody and everything telling us, I mean, oh, you have a headache? Oh, take a pill. Oh, you have this? Oh, take this. We have a thing for everything. And that thing makes us have like 20 other
Thanks.
problems that and I mean it's a business. Let's just be just honest. I mean, sick people need
Yep.
medicine, and people are making money off of it, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that medicine is bad. Like I feel like, okay, if you break a leg, like you definitely need to go to the doctor, and you're not going to want to feel that pain while they do, whatever they need to do. And if you have, maybe you need heart surgery. I mean, like there's a time and a place for everything. But I feel like if we go back to a lot of the basics, and we re-regulate our body and we give our bodies what they need in order to function properly, and we start listening, you know, and making the changes and the shifts that it needs, then things would change radically. If we choose convenience over, nutritious foods, then that's going to have an effect. If we choose to take pills to suppress the warning signs, then that's going to have a price, and
Right. Well,
we're paying for it.
then the warning signs, right. Then you're not responding to the warnings. And then all of a sudden you get the emergency and you're like, where'd this come from?
Yeah, yeah. And it's like, I actually saw my body and my cells, because I'm very visual, right? You know
Yeah.
that about me. And once I started listening, it was just like I felt like it had been screaming. My
Mhm.
body and my cells had been screaming for years and years and years. And it made me so sad that I would do that to myself. Like I really took a look and I was like, wow, my body's been trying to heal me for so long. And I've been like dumping a bunch of stress and unhealthy foods and unhealthy habits and unhealthy thoughts and like unhealthy stress. And I just felt like it was very humbling. It
What
was
a
very,
beautiful lesson.
yeah. And so it's like I went from like, oh my God, I'm sick all the time, and why do I have this autoimmune condition, to like, look at what you've done, to yourself. And so that really humbles you. You're like, wow, okay, so like now what? I'm
Well, so,
sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I
uh,
love you. The Honopono. Yeah.
Ho'oponopono, yeah.
Yeah. I had to do that. I had to do a lot of stuff, um, to be able to just come to terms with, this is not a diet. This is not a detox. This is going to be a lifestyle, a change of a life. My life is the way I operate, the way I eat, the way I think. Everything has to align.
Back to the shirt. I
I
love.
know, but
Okay,
it
I
is, and
it's
it
true.
is.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I have a question. So, um, in your notes, you mentioned also that there was a doctor that helped you address like the
Oh
trauma,
my
the
gosh.
psychological trauma and
Yes.
spiritual side of things. Do you mind speaking to that a little bit?
Yes, I would love to. So, I'll start with saying that I was born and raised in Colombia, South America, and I came here when I was 9, and it was during the height of the cartel. So Pablo Escobar, that era. And so why I mentioned that is because, the first 7 years of your life, that's where a lot of who you are is developed, what you learn.
Subconscious patterning.
Yes. So mine was there, and we were in a civil war and cartel and a lot of violence. So, needless to say, my nervous system was not regulated from the get go, right? So I was able to find a friend of a friend, synchronicity. And she said, hey, there's a life coach. She also has her PhD. She's excellent. And at that point I had turned off my spirituality at that point in my life. I was like, I don't want, I sometimes I have dreams and, things like this. And I was just like, I don't want to have anything to do with that. I just totally suppressed it. Again, we suppress our intuition, we suppress our body. So I just figured out as we're talking.
Was this during the time when you were working 90
No,
hours?
no, this was, I mean, I was working pretty and at a pretty stressful job, but this was in like 2015. So it was actually like right
Oh, before I met you.
before I met you. Like I had just started therapy with her. So her name is Nancy, Dr. Nancy DeAndre. She is, I mean, I can tell you like a gift from God. She got me through just some tough stuff. And yeah, she just kind of helped me kind of uh, get back into my spirituality, because, it's kind of hard, like once when you come from like a very Catholic background, because then you're like, am I supposed to have like visions and these dreams and sometimes like all these synchronicities? It scares you because you're like, is this good or bad? And I don't understand it, and nobody understood it around me. And so she was pivotal in like me getting back into, my spirituality and understanding it, and understanding that, we're all supposed to have that. Oh my gosh, I was thinking about you and you called me, or, this, we met up, and, like all these synchronous, that I feel like if we were truly in tune with our body and taking care of it and giving it what it needs, I think that we would be beings in that state all the time. And
Yeah,
so we wouldn't be like, oh my God, like this thing happened and it's such a synchronicity. We would be like, oh my God, I can't
of
believe I'm
course.
like out of sync. Like what's happening? Like it would be total opposite of where we're at now, right?
Yes. Yes, I agree.
Um, so yeah, she was pivotal in helping me understand the my spiritual essence, and to get to know it, and to love it, and to appreciate it, and to live with it. And then, like going through this uh terrible 3 years, that, like after I started detoxing, so I'll get to that. But I was not only detoxing my body and my cells, but also a lot of the trauma. So going back to, I was born in Colombia, and there was like a lot of violence. So there was a lot of stuff, and we call them like knots, like energetic knots, that if you don't deal with them, if you don't give it the room to like, let me journal it, or let me go to therapy, or let me express it, if you suppress it, it's not gonna go away. It's gonna materialize into something, an illness, unbalance.
Mhm.
So I feel like we always have the opportunity to treat it at an energetic level before it materializes. So I think that that's the goal of like being aligned, right? To like check on yourself, check on your food, check on like where am I at, and how all these practices. But yeah, she was like instrumental. I don't, yeah, like there are no words to describe how thankful I am for her. And also, I also had another doctor. He's holistic. His name is Dr. Mosher. He practices here, and he is a phenomenal, like just phenomenal. So, yeah, I mean, I quite honestly, I don't know that I would be here without those three
About
people.
the
Yeah,
support network.
yeah,
When you were detoxing the trauma, what did you use modalities, or was it just like all
yeah,
part of, like, did you
yeah.
use somatic healing or anything like that?
We used like, I mean, basically after I was detoxing, right, and then having all these little health crises, like I've been through a lot, so it was like, okay, I can do this. right? Like I can totally do this. I've been to the hospital so many times. Like this is okay. Like not comfortable, not what I want to do, but I can definitely manage. But then I started like once I started feeling better, so I would have like these crises and then I would get better. And then I would have a crisis and then I would get better. So as my body was cleansing out, and it would have like the health crisis and then I would feel better. So I kept going up, 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 up. So I thought this is definitely the right direction. I know this is right. So I kept doing it. I kept doing it. And I got to a point where, it was time to deparasite. And
Oh,
so I had a job where I would go overseas to India and China and my autoimmune and all of that. So parasites were an issue. And they're a huge issue, especially with when you consume a lot of sugar or carbs. And I think we all do here in the United States. So I would venture to say that a lot of people have parasites and they don't even know that they have that. And I think that that's where a lot of problems stem as well. But so I decided to do a deparasite and it went fantastic. Like I was like, the more I kept going, the more clear-minded I got, the more my nervous system got better. My body was, I mean, it was just like difficult, but I was seeing improvement. So I was like, okay, this is good. I'm gonna keep going. So I did another deparasite and then another one after that. And then that's when my body kind of collapsed. So it wasn't able to move all the toxins out of my body. So
okay.
what I had was just what I now know because and this is what I found out from books and from, the doctors and but this is my path. I'm not saying this is anybody's, but um, because I have an autoimmune problem, I don't have that many T reg cells, right? Which is what like kills and cleanses, right? And so because I was in such a deep cleaning of my body, it was not able to move all the toxins out, which now I know that happens to a lot of people that don't take the correct precautions to move all the stuff out of your lymphatic system.
So
So
you
it's
got like a toxin overload.
like I'm telling you, like I had probably 7 infections at once. Like
Oh,
I
okay.
had lupus, I had pneumonia, I had problems with my skin, I had problems with my like just the inflammation. Everything was just my body just was like not able to function. I was sleeping like 15 hours a day.
Okay.
16
Wow.
hours a day. I could hardly get out of bed. And this went on and on and on. And there was just, I couldn't manage to cleanse my system fast enough. And so that started creating a bunch of problems. And my body was just like fighting to kind of like regulate, but it couldn't. So that was a long, long 2 years.
Did that last for 2 years?
2 years.
Oh my God. What did you have moments of like,
I want to die. Yes.
oh, okay, that sorry. Whoa, you
and
got me to
and
laugh about
moments
that.
and like moments of like I think I'm gonna die.
Oh, ooh,
Yes.
that sounds
And
scary. But
it,
did
it
you
was
have
it was
any moments where you pulled out of it, or it was just like you were
yeah,
sick that
what
whole time?
I was already in it. There was nothing like I couldn't do anything. And the thing is, like I've already been kind of like in the healthcare system enough to where I know what they would do, right? Because I've had inflammation problems and I know that they would just and so it took me a long time to get the diet right, to start healing the gut, to start, just to go through so much that I know that if I went to the emergency room and they bombarded me with antibiotics,
Mm.
like and I knew that that wouldn't help because that would just create more toxins in my body. So I mean, I did have my doctor and the healthcare, and I knew that, if I had to, I would go there. And I knew my body well enough, after being through this my whole life and then serious issues with this for 2 years, to where I knew when I would have to, go to the emergency room. But I was like, I've been working on this for like almost 3 years. I'm not going to go unless I really have to.
Okay,
So
so if you were going to give advice to somebody who was going to go through a parasite, a deparasiting, would you, what would you say to prevent? Because it sounds like ultimately it worked,
ultimately,
but how
yes.
would you not have that?
I mean, I think that at that time when I did that, I didn't have, I mean, I had a protocol, but it was a protocol for somebody who was healthy,
Oh, okay.
somebody who had a good immune system, somebody who, so I think that if you have a condition, you definitely need to have some professional help.
Okay.
And there's a lot out there that helps you with, like, okay, there's a lot of stuff that you can do to, like, get everything moving and out of your lymphatic system for sure. There's, you definitely need a plan. I would not advise anybody to do it without a full plan of, like,
Okay.
what am I going to do when the health like, when I feel absolutely horrible, I can't get out of bed. And now, like, just watching other people go through it, people that are healthy go through it, and it's like they're sick for 2 to 3 weeks, maybe a month, and then they're fine. But if you have an autoimmune condition or some other kind of condition and your body cannot recover, then you may be stuck in it like me, 2 years. So
So, so do you feel like, okay, so on the other side of it, like, was there a turning point where you just came out of a cloud, or was it just a slow climb out?
it was extremely slow, and there was extreme lows and very like little momentum going up and crawling out of there. So, and it was, but even in that, like today, right? Today, I can tell you, I see the divinity in that whole process,
Mm.
because a lot of things transpired, and I had to learn about how the cells work and the organisms, and like, okay, like, what do I need to do? And I had to just fiercely hold on to my faith, and knowing that what I was doing was right, because I knew that, I wasn't going to fix anything by eating sugar,
Right.
or like pumping myself with like antibiotics, which, a lot of the times they don't kill. I mean, they give them to you and they hope they're going to fix whatever it is, but a lot of times they don't know if it's going to fix it or not. And then it just like kills all your microbiome and all of that. Right. So it was a lot of reading. I read a lot of books. I watched a lot of things, and I had my team. I had Mary, I had Nancy, and I had Dr. Mosher. But yeah, it was a battle for sure. At one point, I was going to see him like 4 times a week,
Oh, wow. Wow.
because
Okay.
just things were just like flaring. So he was able to manage to like calm something down, and then something else flared up. Um,
And you were
so
managing it mostly through diet and supplements and
supplements, but he does like he does like acupuncture. I mean, he's got like an arsenal of things,
okay.
and plant medicines, and like, I mean, he's like, when I went to see him, he would check everything, and then he would give me something, and then I would have to wait 45 minutes to an hour to see if the inflammation had gone down. So I mean, it was like visits for like 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours, just like trying to get to the right
Yeah.
medication. Yeah.
So, okay, so what would you say? I mean, I know that like this journey, I'm sure that it's not like there was just a day where all of a sudden you were like, I'm healed. I'm sure it's like an ongoing journey, but like, what do you feel like your, you're like, I guess, can you share a little bit about like, what is your lifestyle like now to maintain this level of continue? Am I right to assume that you're still healing? But you seem to be much more like
I feel
functional.
like I probably since December I started feeling better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. So and I know that it's a lifestyle change. Like I know that it's working. So it's like once you see, you can't unsee, right?
Right. Yeah.
Once you know, you know. And if the thing that really drove me was that I had so many problems all my life, right? So it's like if you finally find a way out of it, even if it's so difficult, it's not as difficult as being sick a lifetime, like for a lifetime, right? So like
Right.
I had a very huge why, you know,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
me to stay the course and continue. And knowing that even when I was like in those crises, it was so better than, you know, when I was bad. So
That's saying a lot. Wow.
yeah.
Yeah. My goodness. Thank you for sharing all of that. So, what a journey, Sandy. I mean, and it's so, like I said before, it's so interesting to hear, like, kind of just to hear you put it all together because I've heard bits and pieces of things over the last couple years, but to hear you put it all together and just share the wisdom that's come from it and the insights and um you know all of that. So thanks for sharing all that. And do you
Yeah.
have like yeah, I mean, is there anything else that we have, anything that we've missed, anything that comes to mind that you're like, oh, I want to say this certain thing or
Well, I think that if you decide to start doing this, I would say like um, have have as much knowledge as possible, not only of like protocols and things like that, because there's a ton of protocols out there, right? But also like definitely it's important to have somebody who has done this before and somebody who is going to be able to lend you a hand when the healing crisis come,
Mhm.
and really just understanding your why you're doing it, right? So that you're able to stay the course and um, have a team, right? Have support, um, have a medical professional ready because you don't know. I mean, it could be that you're sick for a week and you're fine, but it could be that something goes wrong and you're not well for 2 years or more, you know?
Yeah, so when I think about the ground that we've covered in this conversation, I think, your situation was certainly extreme, but so much of what you have touched on and so much of what you have said and learned and shared is really can be applicable to everybody. Going back to that connection of the mind, body, spirit, and some of the basic, the disconnect that we have between what you said at the very beginning of like thinking of your body as being separate from your emotions and your mind and the things that you think. I mean, that stuff is so applicable for all populations, right? And for every like healing or not. I mean, it's valuable information to consider and to think about and to apply in your life and to kind of start looking into like the disconnection that we have. I heard someone the other day talking about how we try to like how we try to control it, how we try to kind of like overpower nature. Like we think that that's possible as humans. And you know, I just feel like I've had this part of my spiritual journey and evolution has been just like really realizing how we are nature. We are a part of it. And that, you know, the more in tune we can be with it and the more time we can spend in nature and
Yeah.
the better our bodies function, the better we feel. And I think that information is, you know, really valuable for anybody, whether they're on a healing journey or not.
Yeah. Yeah. And having like a true love and compassion for your body,
Mm. Mhm.
and seeing it like, I don't know, I started seeing it like almost like my cells, like little children. Like, would I do this to little kids? No, I wouldn't. And it's like, oh my gosh, like, because your cells are fragile.
I
They're,
love how you keep bringing it back to the cells. I mean, honestly, like the way that you say that, it's like, right, we are made up of all of these little pieces, and each one of them, you know, we can love each one of them. I mean, I've really enjoyed the way that you have spoken about that.
because I honestly, I had like a lot of time where I just like couldn't even get out of bed. And I really had this epiphany of how wonderful our bodies are, and that their goal is to survive. Each cell wants to survive, and it wants the best for you, and it wants to do its job. And so I don't know, I just have a new relationship with my body and soul. And that, I guess, that's where I would conclude, is that now, right, not going through all those sleepless nights and all that pain and whatnot, but like now I can see that this was like one of the biggest gifts
Oh my goodness, yeah.
I've had, because I can tell you, like, just even spiritually, I've once you're alone for so long, because by the way, I was going through this by myself. I lived by myself, and I was literally going through it on my own on a daily basis. And so it made me really more aligned with the divinity in and out of me. And I feel like all my senses got a little bit sharper. My intuition got a little bit sharper, because I feel like it's evolution, right? Like that part has to kick in so that you can have more awareness in what's going on with your mind, body, and soul, right? So that you can survive, because that is the whole the name of the game here is evolution and survival. Like each part of us desires that, mind, body, and soul. And so I can tell you that I had some of the most wonderful dreams and epiphanies, and I was just able to see things more clearly, and I was able to reinvent myself, you know? So I'm really grateful for all the lessons. They were difficult, hard. Had I known then what I know now, would I have done it? I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't have, or maybe I would have done it differently. But, you know, I went through it. There was no going back. It was just going forward. And I'm thankful for the whole experience. I'm thankful for the people that were around me that helped me. And I feel like they were there to help me get through it. And you know, when you find people that love what they do,
Mhm.
um, magic happens.
Yeah. Well, and I commend you for all, I mean, it's a brave journey that you went on, and for all of for sticking with it, and coming through with this beautiful wisdom to share, and the way, sharing your gratitude for the journey. I mean, it's really um just a beautiful thing to see, to hear you say, that it was that you're grateful for it after hearing how hard it was. So I mean, I'm deeply impressed, and I'm also deeply grateful that you shared it with me.
Oh,
Told me about it.
I'm happy to share it. I'm happy to share it with you, especially because, you know, we've known each other for such a long time, and it's like we've been able to see our journey, like our journeys. We've been able to be witness to the growth, to the evolution, and to, like, you know, not the not so great moments, and then the really truly great moments. So thank you for being my witness through this journey. And also, if I can inspire anybody to get aligned. And so, see, even that, all of that knowledge, now I'm using it creatively to, like, get the word out there with
And put
through
it,
clothing and through whatever.
yeah, putting it into between the seams. And so
Yeah.
you'll have to give me information to put under the video about your business too, if you have like any, social media links or anything like that, so people can check out your clothing, your beautiful clothing. I don't know if you remember that I have one of,
The back one. Yeah.
yeah, the follow your heart. I
Yeah.
still wear it all the time, and
I
every
love
time I
it.
wear it, people are like, "I love that shirt. Where'd you get it?" I'm like, "My friend made it." So now I can, and now that you're back at it, I can say like, "My friend made it, and let me direct you to her website or her online store or whatever it is that you end up doing."
Yes, yes. I'm getting my website done, but I already have, like, my socials, and I'm actually having this thing where I want people to be part of the creation of it. So on my Instagram, if you go to my link, there's a space that's called Between the Scenes Soul Circle. And so, yeah, I want to have people involved in, like, the creation of the new phase of this, because I stopped designing for like 4 or 5 years while I was sick. And so I'm very excited. I'm very excited because I think that, like, what you're doing, you know, with this podcast, and, you know, like, people that are doing what they love to do is um, helping other people become the best human beings they can be, you know?
That's the goal, right?
Hmm.
I love that. Helping human beings become the best humans they can be. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, Sandy, thank you.
No, thank you.